Hello, Mike Hall here, CEO of Paul Fraser Collectibles, and welcome to episode 8 of my top tips in what to buy in the rare collectibles market right now, firstly for pleasure, but also for future profit. Now, today's recommendation combines beauty with investment potential. So these are items that are visual delight and fantastic to display at home. And whilst you're enjoying that experience, they tend to appreciate in value over time. And this is an area I must say that I am personally in love with and have been for some time. My home is surrounded by these items on display, and they're always a big talking point when we have guests over. And I have real pride of ownership with these items, but more than anything, I connect with them in a way like I do with no other area of the collectibles market. So I'm obviously talking about art, but I'm not talking about the eye-watering prices you see realised for the big paintings of Picasso, etc., through Sotheby's and Christie. I'm talking about a more accessible area to us mere mortals, but no, equally compelling and pleasurable. So the two key areas really are signed sketches from famous artists and then signed limited edition reproductions of the art. So famous artists such as Salvador Dali and Picasso would produce a limited number of top quality reproductions of their work of art, and they would release that for sale. And the reason they did that is they wanted the art to be appreciated by more than just one person. So these are things that can give you great delight, but also have investment potential. So let's talk about sketches firstly. So the thing about a sketch, it is actually unique in its own right. It is a work of art in its own right. But strangely, they're worth so much less than a painting. And I've always felt that they're undervalued in the market. And I believe that we will see these items increase in value significantly in the next 10 years as people start to appreciate their true artistic merit. The second area trades at a very low price, which is accessible to most people really, and that is signed prints, which is high quality limited edition reproductions. And that's become a real gateway into the art market for many people, and it's an important part of the art market. And the thing to bear in mind when you're talking about Andy Warhol, Gerard Richter, Salvador Dali, Marc Chagall, these are artists that have global recognition and interest, and as a result of that, this market is an international market and very liquid. Now, by nature, limited edition reproductions are finite in supply. They're inherently restricted in supply. There was only so many produced to begin with. And like any collectibles, over time, some of them will become damaged and some of them will become destroyed. So the supply must diminish. And this is an area of the market I've witnessed prices rising consistently over the past 10 years. But what I would say, when you look at the top end of the art market, you see that the prices are much more volatile, whereas in this market, they tend to be less volatile but rise consistently over the long term. And the thing you can do with this, obviously, is you can combine buying what you love with making money, which is a great experience. So now let me turn on to just some things that you need to look out for if you're buying into this area of the market. Now, the first one is an obvious one with limited edition reproductions, is that the smaller the number in the edition, obviously, the more valuable it would be. And unfortunately, the far more challenging ones to find are the ones where there was only 25 released, rather than 300 released. So that's one thing to think about when you're buying into this market. Now, provenance and authenticity are very important in this market, and as an example, Salvador Dali famously signed hundreds of pieces of paper and sold them to dealers because he had a real gambling habit. He did it purely for money, and they've been reproduced, and they are not the original reproductions. Now, the key thing you need to do in this is to ensure that you're buying from a reputable source that you trust. And if you have any doubts, demand a third-party certificate of authenticity. Another factor in determining value in limited edition reproductions is the quality of the printing process. So you want to focus on etchings and lithographs on really good quality paper. Mechanical reproductions are less collectible and not something I would recommend. Now, you can get a lot more comfort on the piece of art you own by referring to the artist catalogue raison, which gives you peace of mind. One big factor when you're buying these items is condition, actually, because by nature, these are collectibles that are far more likely to be displayed and used, and consequently, they can become damaged. So the things I would recommend you watch out for, firstly, fading, which is generally what happens if it's been exposed to sunlight for any period of time. Then you have foxing, which is the little marks on the paper, which is caused by high humidity or exposure to dampness. But then you also have to look at creases, because when they're handled, they can become creased, and you can have little tears, all of which diminishes its value to some extent. Housing it in a museum quality frame will obviously significantly increase its value. So really, for me, what I would recommend above all else is buy what you love, because this is an area market where you can really buy what you love and just let the money follow. So I would now like to share with you 3 examples, representative examples of the kinds of things I'm talking about that we currently have available for sale. I would love to share with you this fantastic Dali piece, which is a classic of his, and it's called La Femme Cheval from 1972, which translates obviously as the horsewoman, and not the woman horse, as some people who can't translate French properly may say. It is real classic Dali style, not everyone's taste. I personally love it. The concept of blending a horse's image with a woman, clearly surreal, which is not a surprise because this was produced during the height of Dali's surrealist movement. And as you can see, it is clearly signed by Dali here and also numbered out of a series of 250. Furthermore, it's listed in Albert Field's catalogue of Dali works, which is an official reference work which confirms it's correct. And it's a great size for display. It would really stand out, obviously framed and ready for display. And it's 30.5 inches by 23.5 inches in size, which is a really good size for hanging up on a wall at home. Now, these sort of things I was buying, say, 20 years ago for a few £100s, but the market has really come on because it's growing in popularity, but it's still in its infancy, in my opinion, and I still think it presents great value today. Now, you can acquire this item, take it home with you, for the price of £3,995. So this is quite a remarkable piece, in my opinion. This is Gerhard Richter's Aladdin series Ifrit chromogenic print on aluminium. This is quite unusual the way it's been reproduced. It's a real sturdy thing. Let me show you the back. As you can see, it's great quality. And Gerhard Richter is one of the top selling artists that's still alive today, and he's been dubbed the Picasso of the 21st century. Now this piece itself was based on Richter's seminal series of flow paintings, and I love the way that there's incredible vivid bursts of abstract colour, and I have actual similar items to this at home hanging up. And it's quite remarkable how the light can catch it in different ways, and you see different things in the piece at different times of the day. It truly is a very rewarding piece I've found to own. Now, Gerhard Richter is always in high demand and commands high prices at auctions. And this one is from a series of 500 published by Hina Publications in London. and it's listed in the artist catalogue raison, which is also referred to on the back. Now, you can purchase this from us for the price of £7,995. This is something truly exceptional. This is something hand-drawn by the most famous artist of the 20th century, Picasso, and as you can see, it's also boldly signed by him. Now, this is an original work of art. It's not comparable to a painting which sells for multi-millions, but it remains a unique work of art in its own right. And it shows you a portrait of a bearded man, which is distinctly Picasso's work. It's instantly recognizable as Picasso. And some say that it was probably a self-portrait, which does make it quite exceptional. It is drawn inside an exhibition catalogue from a Picasso show which took place in Switzerland. And the catalogue itself actually is a collectible in its own right. It contains 16 plate illustrations of Picasso's paintings. And this is something that is a real privilege to handle, and I look forward to helping it find a home of someone who will appreciate it as much as I do. And you can purchase this from us for the price of £35,000. So that concludes episode 8 and the final episode of this series. But watch out, there'll be more videos to follow. What I would really appreciate though is if you left me some comments as to the kind of things you'd like me to cover. I will certainly give that some thought, and you may see the area that you're interested in being covered. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.